Have you ever had that feeling? You're at the top of your game, you're successful by every metric that's supposed to matter, but something just feels missing. Well, today we're going to get into the story of a patent attorney who was right there in that exact spot, and how a pretty surprising turn completely remade his career. Yeah, this quote really it hits home, doesn't it? It's that nagging feeling, that little voice in the back of your head saying, is this it? Is this all there is? For this attorney, though, that void wasn't a dead end. Turns out it was the starting line for a journey to find something way, way deeper.
All right, so let's rewind a bit. Before all this soul-searching, there was the grind. And like any ambitious pro, his early days were all about one thing: mastering the incredibly complex world of intellectual property law.
I mean, you can just picture it, right? A total whirlwind of activity, learning all the intricate rules, drafting these super precise legal documents, and just juggling high-stakes client meetings day in and day out. He was building his expertise, becoming a true master of the legal mechanics. But, and this is a big but, he was about to find out that being a master mechanic wasn't the whole story.
This right here, this was a huge light bulb moment for him. He started to see that patents weren't just about ticking boxes for the legal department. They're actually powerful, strategic tools. For a little startup, a solid patent can be the one thing that gets them that first round of funding. For a huge company, it's a critical piece of the puzzle in a merger. This was the first big evolution in how he saw his own work.
And sometimes you learn these lessons the hard way. Early on, he had this tech startup client that wanted to patent absolutely everything. I mean, every wild idea. It completely drained their bank account. And you know what? Most of those patents had nothing to do with the product they actually ended up building. It was this perfect, painful lesson. It's not about having the most patents, it's about having the right ones. But even with this new strategic way of thinking, that nagging feeling, that void, it was still there. So he started looking around for something else, a way to use his very specific skill set for a totally different reason. And that search led him right to the world of pro bono work.
So what does pro bono even mean in a field this specialized? Well, it means giving inventors who have brilliant, world-changing ideas, but zero cash for legal fees, a real shot at protecting their work. He realized pretty fast that this wasn't just some nice little thing to do. It was a critical, urgent need for innovation to even happen. And the cool thing is, he didn't just sit around and wait for these opportunities to show up. No way. He went out and made them happen. He started calling up local organizations, universities, startup hubs, and in a lot of cases, he ended up building these pro bono programs where there was nothing before. Now, here's where the story gets really interesting. He went into this looking for personal purpose, right? But what he found were tangible, honest-to-goodness, professional benefits that not only made him a better lawyer, but also created huge value for the business world. And this isn't just about charity. For a business, encouraging this kind of work is just smart. It makes the company look great, it makes employees happier and more likely to stick around, and hey, you might even discover the next big thing by working with innovators at the grassroots level. It's this incredible, positive feedback loop. And just look at the skills this work builds. When you're working with an inventor who has literally everything on the line, you are forced to develop deep empathy. You have to get creative to solve problems when you don't have a huge budget. And maybe the biggest one of all, you have to learn how to explain super complex legal stuff in a simple, human way. These are not soft skills. These are power tools for your career. I mean, let's be real. It's not all sunshine and roses. The time commitment is a killer, and trying to manage the expectations of really passionate inventors can be incredibly tough. But what he found was that those very challenges were the things that pushed him to grow, making him more patient, a better communicator, a better professional. Which brings us to the biggest change of all. This wasn't just about him adding a few new skills to his LinkedIn profile. No. This was about a fundamental shift in the way he connected with other human beings. See, in his day job, a lot of relationships felt transactional. They were driven by metrics, by billable hours. But with his pro bono clients, it was a totally different ballgame. It was a true partnership. He wasn't just some service provider. He was a teacher, a guide, a partner who was deeply invested in their success, all built on a foundation of real trust. Man, this quote says it all, doesn't it? The stakes were just different. This wasn't about a line item on a spreadsheet anymore. This was about someone's life's work, their dream. The weight of that trust, it just changed everything for him. So how did he do it? How did he build that trust? Well, it started with something simple.
He listened, like really listened, to understand their hopes and their fears. Then he'd take all that complicated legal jargon and break it down into plain English. And finally, he gave them the knowledge they needed to make their own smart decisions down the road. He empowered them. And here is the absolute kicker. He took this elixir, this magic potion of empathy, clear communication, and an educator's mindset, and he brought it all back to his paying corporate clients. And suddenly, he was better at seeing what they needed before they even asked. He was better at explaining complex strategies. He was just better. It made him a more valuable attorney to everyone. So when you pull back and look at this whole journey, what's the one big lesson we can all learn from his search for something more than just a paycheck? Here it is, plain and simple. That search for purpose isn't some hobby you do on the side. It is essential fuel for your career. Stepping outside your comfort zone to connect with your work on a human level doesn't just fill a void. It unlocks skills and perspectives that will make you better at everything you do. And that really just leaves us with one final thought. Look, it doesn't have to be legal work. It could be mentoring someone just starting out. It could be volunteering your skills for a cause you care about. It could just be finding a way to teach and empower people in your own field. So the question to you is, what's the pro bono of your career? What's that one thing you could do that won't just bring you purpose, but will actually make you better at your job?